everyone, I'm Anita with Anita by Design, and welcome back to my series, Sewing with Baby Lock Soprano. Today, in episode number 3, we will be covering the operation panel. I will show you how to read the LCD screen and how to make adjustments to the settings on your machine. If you've missed episodes 1 and 2, make sure you go check those out first, where I cover the machine's parts and all of the accessories that come with your machine. Let's get started. Okay, we're looking at the operation panel, and this is what the LCD screen looks like after you have selected a stitch key and a stitch pattern. Starting in the upper left-hand corner, the icon that appears here will depend on which of the 4 stitch keys you have selected. The number to the right will depend on which stitch pattern you have selected using the numeric keypad. In the second row, we are told which presser foot to use, and to the right of that, we're given a picture of the actual stitch pattern that we have chosen. In the bottom row, we are given the stitch width, the stitch length, and the thread tension. And these numbers are preset. However, if you'd like to increase or decrease any of these numbers, you can use the plus and minus sign under each setting. In the upper right-hand corner, we are given an icon to tell us whether this pattern is a single pattern or a continuous pattern. And this picture indicates that it is a continuous pattern. If you'd like to change it to a single pattern, then you would use the golden heart button here. Just by pressing the button, you will change it to a single pattern. And I'll change it back to continuous. And then to the right here, this icon indicates the stop position for the needle. And the picture here indicates that when we stop sewing, the needle will be in the down position. Now let's take a look at the settings screens. There are 9 pages that we can use to make adjustments to the stitch pattern and operations for the machine. And we will do that by pressing this top gold button here, and that takes us to page 1 of the settings screen, and it shows here page 1 of 9. To move up and down on each page, you would use the up and down arrow. And once you get to the selection that you want to make an adjustment to, you would use the plus and minus arrow, the left and right arrow, to make the adjustment. So let's go back to our screen here, our selection. Let's say we want to change the needle position, the stop position, to up. We would press the settings, we would go down to needle position, and then we would press the left or right arrow, and it changes to the up position. We would press OK, and it takes us back to our screen, and we see here that the needle position has been changed to up. Okay, going back to the settings screen, let's say we want to change to a twin needle. So arrow down to twin needle, use the right or left arrow to turn it on, press OK, and we see here we have changed to a double or twin needle. Back to the settings, we're going to go to page 2 by pressing the plus sign, and here we get a second page where we can adjust the width control and the initial position of the needle. On page 3, we can adjust the elongation, the thread density, and the character spacing. On page 4, we can make adjustments to the vertical and the horizontal positioning. On page 5, we can adjust the presser foot pressure, the presser foot height, and the auto fabric sensor system. This is pretty cool. Let's arrow down to that one. Here, if you turn this on, what happens is, as you're sewing, the machine automatically senses the thickness of the fabric. And as the thickness changes, the machine automatically adjusts the pressure of the presser foot so that it can accommodate thickness or an additional thickness. So if you're sewing a pair of jeans, and you know how you have to sew over that hump when you're going over seams, then the machine will adjust so that the pressure of the presser foot will go smoothly over that hump. Moving on to page 6, we have free motion quilting, and those of you who are quilters will really appreciate this one. We can turn that function off or on. We have the free motion foot height that can be adjusted, and then we can also adjust the height of the presser foot for pivoting. And you guys will learn more about this function, the pivoting function, in a future episode, because I will be going into detail to show you guys how that works. Moving to page 7. We can turn the buzzer for the machine off or on. We can turn the light off or on, and then we can adjust the brightness of the LCD screen. On page 8, we can turn the reinforcement priority off or on. We can change the input sensitivity for the operation keys, and to make them less sensitive, we would just increase the number here. And then we can change the language for the machine. Then on page 9, we are given the version for the program that is used on the machine. And finally, I want to show you guys the 3 operation buttons to the right of the LCD screen, starting with the pivot key. When you engage this key, what happens is you're sewing, you press the start and stop button, and the presser foot automatically lifts so that you can turn your fabric. Then you press the start and stop button again, and the presser foot lowers itself to continue sewing. Next is the reverse and reinforcement key. When you press this button, it automatically sews in reverse for a reinforcement stitch at the beginning and end of your seam. And finally is the automatic thread cutting key. And this one automatically, when you press this one, it automatically cuts your thread at the end of your stitch. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button below. And don't forget to join me for the next episode, where I will show you guys how to select stitch patterns for your projects. As always, remember, when you live in your design, it is from there that God shines. That means when you live according to the way that you have been created, it is from that place that God will use you and shine through you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.